Why don't I refute anymore? Many reasons, many reasons. Number one, I've gained much more knowledge. And the more that I study, the more tolerant I become. When I was younger, literally the world was black and white to me. You were either following the position that I thought was the haqq, or you were upon the batil. This was literally the world that I myself, I'm a witness to this, that this is the world that, and the saying goes, a little bit of knowledge is a very dangerous thing. That you are taught one opinion. So with more knowledge, you realize that, you know what, maybe it is one opinion that this is haram, another opinion says it's makruh, another opinion says it's halal. Maybe this opinion says it's bid'ah, but another opinion, yes, even between ulama of the same school, you will find the same act. One will say haram, one will say makruh. One will say bid'ah, one will say no, this is jaiz with these conditions, for example, right? So the more you learn, the more tolerant you become. So this is number one. Number two, experience. The more wise you become, the more tolerant you become. So there's something called book knowledge, and that's important. There's something called wisdom. The more you are interacting with the people, the more you are experienced in your da'wah, you realize that it's not the best use of time to talk about the faults of other people. You know, to be an armchair critic requires zero qualifications. And that is why the more wise you are, the more experienced you are, the more quiet you become. And then there's the spiritual component. So there's knowledge, there's experience, and then there's spirituality. Wallahi, brothers and sisters, and I'm not being superficially humble, it's the brutal reality. Why should I concern myself with the faults of others when I have my own faults to worry about? Why should I worry about other people and their issues when I have to worry about myself and what I am dealing with and the issues that I have? So, subhanAllah, there's a better way to refute, and that is by showing the right way. If I disagree about something or something, the better way to refute is to demonstrate through actions and preaching what is the correct way. Unfortunately, what we see is there's this whole internet culture of, the vulture culture is called, of pinpointing issues and mistakes, and even worse, finding a mistake when it doesn't even exist, reading in a mistake when it doesn't even exist. And this is the sad reality which typically we find from undereducated, inexperienced, young da'is. This is the reality. In fact, I say da'is, they're not even da'is. They haven't even studied. They're self-taught. They have read a few articles, or they've studied with some local shaykh. They can barely recite the Fatiha. They don't even know the pronunciation of the Qur'an. And they consider themselves to be worthy of criticizing people far senior to them in knowledge and age and wisdom. This is the sign of immaturity and foolishness, and I seek Allah's refuge from being immature and foolish and ignorant. So the wise person does not busy himself with destroying and refuting. And wallahi, even responding to refutations, it doesn't make any sense. Because if I were to respond to this critic, another's going to come along, yet another. Leave the critics and let them bark as loud as they want. This is not what I'm going to concern myself with. My concern is to preach the truth and ask Allah to continue to bless me and to overlook my sins and faults. And there's no doubt there are mistakes we all make, but the goal is that the khair and the benefit is much more than the mistakes that are made. And when you find somebody, anybody, who's overall contributing more to the ummah, then consider that as you look at the mistakes. And rather than jump on the mistakes or aggrandize them or exaggerate them, look at the khair that has brought about. Because the reality is, everybody other than the Prophet ﷺ will have mistakes. Everybody. So why concentrate on these minor issues? Why read in mistakes when they don't exist? Rather than talk about other people's mistakes and faults, concentrate on what good you can do to the ummah and how you can guide other people. Concentrate on your own akhlaq and being a positive role model. Destroying other people is the easiest thing in the world. But wallahi, when you destroy others that are genuinely successful, wallahi, you end up destroying yourself and not harming them at all. So don't worry about other people's mistakes and flaws. Worry about your own. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will then make you a role model when you worry about your own faults. And you will be able to conquer your own issues and rise up in the eyes of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. This is the real prophetic methodology. In fact, Imam al-Bukhari is well known for this, that he would make it a point to never mention any critic, any person he criticized. He would criticize the concept and not the person. And no doubt once in a while an exception needs to be made for somebody who's clearly an evil person. But generally speaking, people of khair, people of knowledge, people of iman, people of taqwa, generally speaking, we overlook their minor mistakes in light of all the good that they have done, and we make dua for them rather than expose them. This is the prophetic way. May Allah Azza wa Jal make me and all of you to be a true follower of our Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Wa jazakumullahu khairan. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.